Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're joining us from this exciting day for us. By the way, do you know what day it is today? It is Leap Day. So a day we both need and deserve. And on this day, we bring you Leap 2024, the API Observability Conference. So let's start off with a little bit of backstory as to why we are doing this. 6 months ago, we launched the API Platform Engineering Fundamentals program in collaboration with 8 incredible industry experts. The idea was to educate API platform teams about how to evolve and elevate their API platform maturity. Now, close to 1,000 participants and 100+ certifications later, we started thinking about the next step in the journey. What else can we do to help platform teams further their platform maturity? What's a true pain point that we need to explore? The answer, it turns out, is observability. While exploring this topic, we realized how important this was for platform teams, development teams, as well as businesses as a whole. But there was also some discourse and confusion surrounding what observability actually meant. Is it logs? Is it metrics? Is it traces? Is it telemetry? Is it analytics? Also, at what level should you consider observability? APIs, platforms, infrastructure, services? So, what does that mean for decision makers or implementers? So there's a whole range of questions that kept coming up over and over again. So with all that in mind, it was time to dig deeper. It was time for Leap 2024. And here we are. So with that, I am Budha, developer advocate here at Tyk. I will be one of the hosts today. In my role as a developer advocate, I look after product education, community engagement, and open source ecosystem expansion here at Tyk. I was the course instructor for the API Platform Engineering Fundamentals program, host of the All About APIs podcast and the API Hangout. The only other thing you need to know about me is that I'm a big fan of horror and musicals. So if you want to talk about it, we can definitely talk about it during the day or even after. Now, before I introduce you to my classy, calm, and composed co-host, Sonja, let me tell you a little bit about what to expect today. So there'll be 19 sessions delivered by 25 speakers across 2 parallel streams, which would be decision makers and for implementers. There will be 10-minute breaks between each session, with a big break coming during lunchtime, which will be about roughly 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's about 5 p.m. GMT. Now, there is a lobby functionality, a lobby feature that you can use to interact with each other, to connect, to learn, to share your stories, and maybe just to say hi. So it's really, really cool. They've got a lot of different functionalities. You can connect with each other one-to-one, or you can have a main chat going on with each other. That's perfectly fine. But keep your eye out. We'll be sharing things from time to time over there. There will be a bit of a platform engineering bend to this conversation around observability today. But, we are opening it up to all possible discussions around observability, as you will see throughout the day. We've got panel discussions, we've got workshops, we've got demos, we've got presentations, all to look at the different aspects, the different nuances around the conversation of observability. Now, with that, I want to hand it over to Sonja, who's going to give you an introduction as well as the introduction into what bad API observability might look like. So over to you, Sonja.
Hi everybody. I'm Sonja. I'm a group product manager at Tyk. I have been working in the tech industry for the last 2 decades, so quite a long time. And I have been both a product manager in the observability space and in the API space. And when I started in the API space, talking with our user, customers, and the whole ecosystem, there is really one challenge that we keep hearing is API observability. And especially we've seen that many teams have lots of dashboards with metrics to do monitoring of the APIs, but very often those teams that are responsible for providing APIs or platform to build the APIs, they don't really know how their end users are doing, how the user of the APIs are doing. And that's a shame because they monitor a dashboard and there's a number, but they don't know what does it mean. Is 99.9% availability, is it good for the user? Which user are impacted? In case of error, what are the kind of errors? Is it a problem for the users? How are they really feeling? And that's something that in the API space, sometimes we tend to forget that there's users in the other side. We think in terms of machine to machine communicating to each other. but there's lots of users there. First, the developer that want to integrate with your APIs. And if there's not a good experience, then they will go away and never use it, never come back. And then there is the user that once integrated in the platform, they're using it to provide important capability to the system. That's really important as a provider API to understand the user experience of your APIs, and something that observability can help, but that still many people are struggling to achieve. Another anti-pattern or common challenge that we've seen and that people have been talking to us about is the losing too much time troubleshooting. There's an error, and then it starts to be a ping pong between the API team, the development team, the developer, the platform team. It's just people spend too much time looking at different data, trying to understand the error, instead of being able to concentrate on fixing the problem. And then a last anti-pattern that we see is teams working in silo, from a product manager looking at their data in their dashboard, to the platform team, again, looking in another tool, and the developers looking in another tool or not looking at all. And those people having problems to work together to really provide the value that we want to provide to the user. And we think that observability is here to help, and that we all deserve a quick feedback loop from production. We want to know how things are doing just after we deploy. We want quick feedback. We want to be able to understand what's happening. We want to make sure that our users are happy, and observability is key for that. And that's something that we are going to address this whole conference. So you'll get lots of sessions that will help you to embrace that idea of observability being core for your API platform. And also not only during the production, just in production, getting feedback for production, but then we'll also explore other aspects of observability during the whole development lifecycle. And with that, we hope that you'll get all the information that you need to help you achieve observability and get all the data that you need to help you build safe, effective, and reliable APIs. So we have really lots of interesting sessions today, and we have two tracks, as Budha were mentioning. So we have a more decision-making track with understanding the value of observability, and a track that is more on the implementation side. So, Budha,
okay,
yeah.
All right, I'm back. Okay, we see a whole lot of people in the audience, which is fantastic. I thought I would take this moment. Thank you so much, obviously, for the introduction there, Sonja. I think that again sets the scene for what is to come later on. It'll be really good to sort of understand a little bit more about the folks who are attending here at this point. And I'm going to open up a couple of polls just to understand what you're sort of expecting from the rest of today, and that'll give us a good sense of, how we proceed this. It might be a little too late to change the sessions, but we will see if we can pick up questions specifically around this. So I'm going to launch the first one, and hopefully we'll get some responses and answers to know, what you care about, what is some of the considerations you're making right now in the world of observability, as well as for this conference, what you're expecting from it. So I'll keep this open for a little while. I have removed, I think there was an issue with, there was an issue with sort of reserving a spot or something, which is why the join link might have not worked for a couple of people, but that's been taken care of and removed now. It won't be present for the rest of the session. So hopefully that is all okay. The only challenge is I'm not sure why the chat refuses to function. I don't know. But for now, I think we'll try the Q&A. I do see someone having raised their hand. I apologize if I'm not coming there. Jason Dreyer, you've got your hand raised. Could you just post the question in the Q&A section, perhaps? Oh, okay, it's gone down now. Maybe that was an accident. That's all right. We know the raising of hand works, so I think that's obviously good. Cool. Some really good responses coming in. Good to see that there's a lot of conversations around implementing observability. It's good to see a few of those conversations coming in. Very good. Some of you want to meet this person, the speakers. I'm really, really flattered. More than happy to connect with you. We can talk about horror movies and APIs and observability, and horror. There are horror stories around both of those things, around horror stories around APIs and horror stories around observability. We'll probably explore a couple of those today, but We can talk specifically about those things too. Great, great, great. Awesome. I'll give it maybe 1 more minute, maybe 30 more seconds before we close the poll. And then we will head on over to preparing for our first panel. Our panelists are already here, which is great. We will kick that off right after. So what's happening next is going to be the panel discussion about taking a closer look at observability. Like I said before, there seems to be a bit of a discourse around what to expect, what observability actually means. We wanted to sort of set the scene, set the context around that specific discussion. What does it work? How does it work across different levels, different layers? What does that mean for different teams? Whether it's a platform team, it's a development team, or the business as a whole. We want to make that as clear as possible. Now, there'll be 4 people in that room, so definitely there'll be varying opinions, but that's the whole point. We want to take those different opinions and try and see if we can come to a specific consensus, or there are different specific things that people can still focus on under the umbrella of observability. That will be the point of the next session. So with that, I'm going to close this survey. We're still getting a couple of responses, which is great. I am just going to close this for now. I'm going to share the results just so that you know what's coming up, which is great. We've got some really, really good breakdown over here. We've got a lot of people looking to implement observability across their platform stack, which is fantastic. Good to see that you're just getting started as well. You're going to be learning, which is going to be phenomenal for this particular session as well. And then again, the adoption, which is going to go into the decision maker stream, which is going to be great. So I'm going to stop sharing this. We've got one other question, which I think we'll pick up in the next session. So we'll go into that next session right after. Or maybe we'll just pick that up. I think we'll pick it up in the next session. So thank you so much, everyone, for the opening keynote. Hopefully this gives you a good idea about what to expect from today. Again, connect, learn, share, whatever you want to do over at the lobby chat, connect with each other. Tell us how you feel, tell us what you think, and we are happy to have you here at LEAP 2024. It's going to be a phenomenal day. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you are too. So, okay then, over to the next session. I'll see you there.